Good afternoon. We're back again this afternoon. It's been about a week since the first part of the video was shot. The guys are here today finishing up the installation of the liner, and we're going to go in and look at the crawl space and see the results of the industrial cleaning service. This system, as we talked about before, is an ATMOX system, one of my favorite types of programs to put on a house. And it's a hybrid system, kind of between the old sealed technology, but also the availability of putting in the fresh air when it is available. This little controller powers the entire system, powers the low voltage fan system as well as the backup dehumidifier. You can see here one of the intake fans. And this is a triple intake fan, and this fan, along with this fan here, as well as this fan here, is the primary source of our outside air. All the other vents are closed off, so this is the only point of exchange that we can have with the outside air, and it is by a factor of dew point. We've also deployed a new vapor barrier on this home. And as you can see here, just walking around, the guys did a really good job with the industrial cleaning service to clean the microbial material from the floor system. We've also re-insulated the subfloor with R19 fiberglass. And as you'll see as we peer deeper into the crawl space, just the overall conditions here, the wood moisture today has dropped down to 14%, and just got to remember, just a few days ago we cleaned this floor system, which spiked the wood moisture up, up into the 20s. But already, just with the use of the outside air, we've been able to bring down the crawl space wood moisture without using the dehumidifier and using these fans. And you'll see I'm standing here in front of a dead corner fan. A dead corner fan is a fan that moves air supplementally from one part of the crawl space to the other. As people may not realize, dehumidifiers don't really move air that well. And so if the dehumidifier is running, these fans will run in concert with the dehumidifier so that we can move the air around the dehumidifier, allowing it to run more efficiently. Or if we're on the outside air, these fans will provide extra power or movement of the air from one side of the crawl space to the other. Here's another one of these fans, and you can see these fans are all running right now. And we'll walk over here to the center of the crawl space. We can see we've deployed an April Air 90 pint dehumidifier. We're placing more and more of these out into our installs these days, and it's a very well built dehumidifier. Now keep in mind that the system is hybridized. It is not operating by a factor of relative humidity. It's being operated by that controller that we showed you in the beginning, and it forces this device to operate on a factor of dew point, as do the fans. And one of the most interesting upgrades, I've been putting these systems in for 8 years, but this year ATMOX has really reinvented the system very well. This is the B box. This is the central hub that powers all of the fans and the dehumidifier and so forth. You see these little low voltage wires. Well, they've reinvented this box to be easier to use. And you can see here the data cords, and as far as the quick connect cords for the fans, are very easy to install. So if you're an installer for the ATMOX system, this latest version is certainly the easiest to deploy. It's the easiest to use, which reduces installation mistakes. I really enjoy and like this latest upgrade. The folks at ATMOX are constantly reinventing the system, and every 2 years or so they come out with a new upgrade, and certainly this is one of my favorites. You'll see here, this is what we call a pipe fan, and it does have a duct kit for it. This house has a supplemental compartment which we'll see in a minute here, where it does have a stick-built support system for the porch system above, so it does have organics. So we did want to force some of the conditioned air into that sub-compartment. And that's what this fan is designed for, to push the conditioned air, whether it's from the dehumidifier or the exterior intakes, into that sub-compartment. As it pushes the air in through this access hole, out here, see if I can get in this for you to look. Here you can see the underside of this porch, and you can see that it is an engineered floor system as the crawl space is. And we wanted to put some conditioned air in here, and you can see over there where the duct kit protrudes through the wall. So we want to keep this dry, and we'll probably add some rocks in here on a future date, just to kind of get this a little bit more moisture friendly. But certainly you can see the importance of these sub-compartments, especially if they're made of wood, to keep moisture level down. So I can actually feel the air being forced out of this opening. I'm walking down. This house does have a full interior foundation drain system, and we added some rocks to it, kind of spruced it up a little bit. But this was part of the original construction. And you can see that this is a precast wall on this house. This foundation wall is probably 12 inches thick. So a very well-built home. And as you can see, these sonotube piers, there's probably 50 of them under here, hold up a drop girder system that supports an engineered floor system. Now, if you remember back here in the first part of the video, this area was covered with mold. And we pulled the insulation, and we found that a lot of material had grown in this section of the crawl space, and it's cleaned up really nicely. You can see here the new insulation. We did choose to insulate with fiberglass bat insulation to restore the original design of the home. I know some folks like to insulate these walls, these exterior walls, with foam board insulation, and I've certainly done a fair amount of that. Based on the walls being 12 inches thick, and we're in a North Carolina house, the winters just down here just do not get that severe. So it's a much better to just re-insulate the subfloor, which also creates an acoustical value. I've removed insulation before in past accounts, and customers will sometimes complain they can hear the shrinking and swelling of the floor system upstairs because the insulation's been pulled and it wasn't re-insulated. So I do actually try to re-insulate when possible with the traditional fiberglass bat to get the acoustical value as well as insulative value. And as we continue here around the crawl space, you can see, this is a 3,800 square foot crawl space, as we mentioned before. We're doing a full liner install on this. The mechanicals here are in place, and a pretty elaborate system that we have here. Again, just to restore this crawl space to its original intent. And over here, we'll show you the exhaust fans. Now, this is where you saw the intake. Well, we've got triple exhaust on the far side of the house, which we're exhausting the air today. And today it's like 65 degrees. The dew points are down in the tank. I mean, it's so dry out there today that there's hardly any moisture in the air. It's real pretty, not only here in the South, but through the entire Midwestern part of the country. And why not use this outside air when it's available? And that way these fans are running on low voltage. That's 1/12 the power consumption that it'll take to run that expensive dehumidifier. And that dehumidifier does use a lot of energy. So this is where you really see the sweet spot by combining the technologies of controlled ventilation and a sealed crawl space. And to be able to invite the outside air in when it's available will save this customer hundreds, perhaps thousands of dollars over the next few years in energy savings. Especially on a crawl space of this size, 3,800 square feet, and it's 10 foot tall in here. So that's a lot of cubic footage of air that has to be conditioned. So certainly any help that we can get from the outside is certainly beneficial. So let's go this way. As you can see, more of the drain system install, or the drains, the existing footing drain. We did add some rocks here and there to help make the system a little more efficient. And here's another dead corner fan, and these can swivel in any direction that we need to point them, so that they're, that we're moving the air across the crawl space environment in a logical fashion. And you'll see here also I wanted to show the wood moisture sensor. The system can run a wood moisture sensor, and I really like this feature because relative humidity is such a poor way to gauge a crawl space. And a wood moisture sensor, as you can see, it's just a piece of southern yellow pine with a sensor stuck in it, but this gives us a true reading of what the floor system really is. And I'll see mistakes made by professionals that don't know. You can't take a reading from an engineered floor joist and get a true reading. It's got to be a piece of southern yellow pine. That's what the probes are designed to do on these moisture readers. And certainly to have an independent wood moisture reading go into that controller, this is the most accurate piece of science that you have on the system to determine whether or not to fire the fans. And we have that set at 18%. So if it goes above 18%, it'll put the system into alarm, and we'll know to come out here for service and investigate what the problem is. But again, looking around here, they just did a super job on the cleaning. That material really, most of the staining was removed. The product that we use for mold cleaning is very good, and it's non-invasive. Doesn't damage the wood like some of the other processes like dry ice blasting or soda blasting. We don't have to do any of that. It's very gentle, therapeutic. Basically, you apply the treatments and then just wipe it clean, and it removes the soil load as well as destroying the material. A very good cleaning job here. Also, we do want to have a third party in a lot of these jobs to check us. A job of this size, I'm always going to bring a third-party hygienist in to clear the work, to take random samples, send them off to make sure that we got it all. And we actually did 2 clearances on this house. The homeowner had their own hygienist do a clearance, as well as we brought in one that we work with a lot, who's very picky. And so both clearance tests were negative, and you'll see that on your screen, a copy of that clearance test, and see what they look like here for a second. But so we know proof positive with a third party that this crawl space is free of mold. So we really can hit the reset button here, and we've got a great system set up here. Some folks will say, 3,800 square feet, you need 2 dehumidifiers. I see that nonsense all the time. If you're running controlled ventilation, you don't need 2 dehumidifiers. Basically, those 3 intake fans that you saw on the other side of the crawl space create enough CFMs to offset 3 commercial dehumidifiers. So when you do that math in your head, you really begin to realize the silliness of some of the encapsulation companies pushing multiple dehumidifiers in a crawl space when you can move the air around with these fans. So certainly one of the flaws in the industry that people are starting to kind of find out about. So only 1 dehumidifier is needed for this 3,800 square foot crawl space with the assistance of the outside fans. Here is the interior wood moisture, or I'm sorry, this is the interior sensor package, which is sending data back to that controller. The controller, you can look at the screen, you can see relative humidity, temperature, dew point, all the relevant information that you need to know what the conditions are here down here. And again, it's all from this box, and very easy to operate. Also, this crawl space was very well lit. already, but it does have the ability to run a low voltage lighting system. And so on many of our installations, we're just doing it. We'll include 2 or 3 low voltage lights on the controls, so that the customer, if they want, they can turn the light on and off. And I really like that. It's a nice feature, and most people forget to turn their lights off. This system is designed to shut the lights off after a certain period of time if you forget to turn them off. So what a nice tool to have for an HVAC contractor that wants to do maintenance on the HVAC unit, to be able to turn the lights on and off. But of course, this house already had plenty of lights, and that program wasn't needed. So, but yeah, a lot to unpack. You know, this is a really big house and it's easy to get around in, so naturally I was pretty excited about shooting the video today. And you can see, you know, the difference between before and after. What an amazing difference. And to be able to share such a highly advanced, technologically, how do you want to say, green piece of technology with this homeowner, they win on all fronts. You got a clean crawl space. You've got a low voltage system that runs the main part of the system. The dehumidifier will probably last 15-20 years. The conditions are perfect down here today, and they won't have to worry about any more crawl space issues. The sump pump has been fixed. The exit line has been repaired. We've really, I can't think of anything else that we can do to make this crawl space more efficient, and that they've already done here. So I hope that you've learned a little bit about controlled ventilation, vapor barriers, insulation, encapsulation, any of these types of things that you might have questions about. You can give us a call at the number at the bottom of your screen, and we'll be glad to answer those questions. Foundation drainage, you know, these guys are good at doing outside drainage protocols, drainage swales, catch basins and stuff, and buried exit lines for downspouts. They do all that kind of stuff too. So you know, we don't just do crawl space work, but by far, certainly this is, they certainly do really good work, and I think some of the best work I've seen in town here. But yeah, we appreciate you joining us today. Hope you have a good rest of the day. And again, this is Michael Mazarang. Take care.